Quality, innovation, respect, and integrity. Text Quality, innovation, respect, and integrity. Take steps to invest in your career. International Management Consultancy is the leading global marketplace for learning and instruction, helping professionals across the industry to develop skills and expertise to get recognition and growth in the corporate world. We are one of the leading training providers and gradually spreading our training facility amongst candidates based at different geographies, such as Canada, United States of America, United Arab Emirates, Saudi, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Lebanon, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, India, and many other countries across the globe. IMC is accredited by the highest industry standards. We put in the efforts and we work to prove our commitment to offering our clients only the best and of superior quality. With a uniquely immersive curriculum that combines live instruction from the leading experts, peer-to-peer collaboration, on-demand lessons, unlimited online trainings, and 24/7 learning support. IMC helps over thousands of professionals learn their skills needed to advance their careers and reach their full potential. In line with our commitment to excellence, IMC offers a number of training courses preparing professionals for certifications and exams given by the international associations in areas like management, finance and accounting, human resources, sales and marketing, quality administration, and as well as project management. By fully attending these courses and successfully completing the requirements of the certifying body, participants will receive a special certificate which recognizes their dedication and commitment and in many cases help them earn valuable continuing education credit. IMC Consultants has been working together with their clients from various industries in aligning their people and processes to compete through high speed, excellent quality, and low cost. We strongly believe that the key to our success is our total commitment in delivering value to our clients based on integrity, honesty, and openness. If you are uncertain about which roles or skills are best for you, hurry! Come visit our website or talk to our expert education consultants today. Take a step, invest in your future, empower your knowledge, and be one of our success stories. International Management Consultancy, excellence is what we deliver.
So thank you everyone for watching the video, and I hope you are able to get an idea and know who is IMC and our services. So before we move forward to the introduction of our trainer, some of you might be thinking of what you will learn from this session. Hence, I'd like to give you a few points of what are the takeaways that you will get from this training. So you will learn how to define and understand quality concepts and the evolution of Lean Six Sigma. Secondly is to discuss Six Sigma and benefits to sustain business improvement. To explain the role of Six Sigma in customer service and continual improvement. Fourth is to apply and implement the define, measure, analyze, improve, and control problem-solving methodology. Fifth is to examine the statistical background supporting Six Sigma projects. Sixth is to compare between the various tools usually used in a Six Sigma project. And last is to explain how to deploy Six Sigma and assess organization readiness to launch a successful Six Sigma project. So without further ado, let me introduce to you our Lean Six Sigma expert for today. He is a Six Sigma Master Black Belt expert, having 30 years of training experience into consulting and mentoring in IT, manufacturing, banking, and other areas. He also conducted around 500 plus open house, in-house virtual training courses on Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, Black Belt, Green Belt, Yellow Belt, Quality Management, Risk Management, Total Quality Management, ISO 9001, and Lead Auditor, CMMI L3 and L5 in various locations in India, USA, France, South Africa, and many other countries. So without further ado, please all welcome Mr. Debasish Marcherji.
Thank you very
Good
much,
morning,
Michelle.
Mr. Debasish.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Good morning.
You're
Good
welcome,
morning,
sir.
all of you. So, do you mind passing?
Over to you, sir.
Can everybody see my screen? Good morning, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. And also, I think everybody can hear me loud and clear. So, thank you very much for the introduction, Michelle. Good morning once again, all of you, and welcome to this session on Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt, organized by International Management Consultancy. As Michelle has already presented me, my name is Debashish Mukherjee, and I will take you through a 3-hour discussion on what are the different aspects of Lean Six Sigma that we are going to understand. Okay, so let us continue. Now, before understanding and going into the concept of Six Sigma, let us first understand what exactly is a Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt station. Like all of you might have known, or some of you might be already knowing, that there are different hierarchies that we have in a Six Sigma learning. We have yellow belt, we have green belt, we have black belt, we have master black belt, like this. These are different levels of learning the Six Sigma. But one thing you should always remember, that the concept of Six Sigma, whether you do a yellow belt or green belt or black belt or master black belt, I'm not talking about master black belt over here. This is a bit of different ball game. Yellow belt, green belt, black belt, whatever belt we talk about, the concept of Six Sigma as an initiative remains the same. But in a yellow belt, what we learn, ideally we learn some more things in a green belt. Whatever we learn in a green belt, we obviously learn some more things in a black belt. So obviously what happens, the duration of these trainings, the quantum of the knowledge that we acquire in each of these trainings are definitely different. In a yellow belt training, what we basically do, we understand the concept of Six Sigma. Remember, my friends, in a Six Sigma initiative, understanding the concept of Six Sigma is a primary important thing that you should always remember. If your conception of the Six Sigma methodology is clear, understanding any part of the trainings like green belt or black belt afterwards, if your people are interested to do, because we have very good trainings with IMC already planned, green belt, black belt, we have very good sessions. So you people will be seeing that the concept always remains the same. So understanding of higher up the order, higher up the level of the Six Sigma knowledge will be very easy. Now, in a yellow belt session, we try to basically understand the conceptual part of Six Sigma. You become aware of how a Six Sigma initiative has to be handled, what are the different ingredients that we should know in case of a Six Sigma initiative, what exactly is the Six Sigma initiative, and also you will be aware of different statistical tools and techniques, different quality tools and techniques, and also some management tools and techniques, which we will touch base upon. We will not go so much in detail because everything cannot be done in a 3-hour session. Definitely, you will be aware of that these are some of the areas that we can understand from an year level certification. And as Michelle has said, after your training is done, if you could be interested, you can go for your year level certification, which is absolutely necessary for your way ahead. Whenever we start with the Six Sigma initiative, the 3 terminologies which I personally feel are the pillars of Six Sigma. They are identification of the customer. Now, everybody understands what is a customer or who is a customer. Customers are those entities to whom we provide our products and services. If it is a manufacturing organization, now in this group, many of you could be from the manufacturing organization. Okay, so whenever you have any manufacturing organization, we ideally provide products to the customer. If it is a service related industry, we provide services. So Six Sigma as an initiative can be applied to any organization. Okay. So first thing that you have to identify in a Six Sigma initiative is, first and foremost, who is my customer? If your identification of the customer is not complete, you ideally cannot proceed further in a Six Sigma initiative. Now, this customer are always ideally of 2 kinds. One is an external customer. External customer are basically your end customers who are external to your organization. You have to understand Six Sigma in a very simple way, very easy and simple way, which I will make you understand that way. Okay. Another kind of customer is the internal customer. One is an external customer, who is ideally the end customer, who are external to your organization. Another is an internal customer. Internal customers are your employees of your organization, your CEO of your organization, your CFO, your CMD, your senior management, your middle management, your immediate boss, your employees of the organization, all can be your internal customers. So identification, who is my customer, is a primary and the foremost important thing that you should remember while we start with the Six Sigma initiative. The second terminology, which is very, very important, is to understand what is the concept of quality. If I use a very common term, I will say quality is something which is fit to use by the customer. So quality criteria has to be defined by the customer, because if you say my quality is world class, but the customer does not recognize that, will it make any sense of claiming that my quality is world class? Your customer has to appreciate that, right? That yes, this organization provides quality products and quality service, then only it is quality. Otherwise, you claiming that my product is quality or my service is of world-class quality does not make sense. Quality from the Six Sigma standpoint has to be understood from the customer's perspective. So these 2 things we have learned: what is a customer, or rather who is my customer, and what is quality as per customer. And the third thing is defect. What is a defect? Defect is just the opposite to quality. anything or everything that does not meet the customer's expectation is a defect. I will give you a simple example. Suppose I am doing a business with Abigail. Okay, Abigail Rafa, if I'm able to pronounce her name properly. Abigail, I am her customer and she is running her manufacturing organization and she is sending me products. Okay. Now, one day I just called her up and say, look, Abigail, I am not very happy with your products that you are sending me. Your quality of the products are very much bad at this moment. You are sending me around 80% quality only, where I am expecting 100% quality. That means I am not expecting any defects. I want 100% quality, whereas you are currently sending me only 80% quality. So what do I mean by 80% quality? By default, it means that there are 20% defects. So always these three terminologies, customer, quality as per customer, and defect as per customer, forms the pillars of Six Sigma initiative. The total Six Sigma as an initiative is dependent on these three pillars. Always you have to understand these three terminologies very good. Now, we discussed about quality. What is a quality, right? Quality, suppose we are today 36 people. Suppose 36 people, and now say it is Abby who is running his or her business, and he has 7 customers. Let us understand this quality. He has 7 customers. He cannot expect that all the 7 customers, the quality perspective will be the same. Some customers will say, I need 100% quality. Very good, no defects. Some will say, look, 1 or 2% defects is still okay with me, but I want everything to be delivered on time. For me, schedule variance is quality. Some will say, okay, schedule variance is okay, defect quality is okay, but I want everything to confirm the specifications that I have sent. No deviations in that. So you see, every customer has different expectations. Every customer will have different expectations. Some of the expectations could be common as well, but mostly every customer has different expectations. And based on that, you have to satisfy all customers towards meeting their quality criteria. And what is quality? We will see the second bullet, meeting or exceeding expectation. I will discuss about this a few slides later. So quality means meeting the expectations of the customer, at the same time exceeding the expectation of the customer. This I will explain with a very good example a few slides later. Okay. Now, I have already discussed this quality. Each customer, yes, Ezra, you have any question? Sorry? Okay, so if nobody has any question, I would request everybody to kindly go on mute, please. Okay. Now, as I said, that quality, as I said already, yeah, Ramkrishna?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, basically now regarding this Six Sigma, sir, we'll be very happy what that term exactly means, sir.
I will come to that, sir. I will come to that.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
No problem. You will have all your questions answered. You don't have to worry. All your questions will be answered. I will gradually come to that, because if I don't discuss on these conceptual things first and straightway jump into Six Sigma, you will not be able to understand. I will come to everything. Don't worry.
Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So now, as I said, that quality will differ from clients to clients, customers to customers. Some will say, I want zero defect. Some will say everything should be within budget. Some will say everything should be on schedule. Some will say conformance to specifications. So you see the footer line, different customers have different priorities and perceptions about quality. And our work, our responsibility will be to perform a Six Sigma initiative and attain that quality criteria which is expected by the customer. We are still discussing on quality because whether you talk about Six Sigma, whether you talk about CMMI, whether you talk about ISO, everything is related to total quality management. Everything is part and parcel of total quality management. So towards quality in Six Sigma, there are ideally two high-level quality aspects that we discuss. One is a product quality, another is a process quality. If required, write this down. I will tell you certain things, you can write it down, which will help you. Product quality. Product quality is related to the quality of the input and the output. Input and the output, that is product quality, more so for the output quality, product quality. And process quality is about the quality of the process. Now try to understand one thing. If it is Christine is my customer and she has said, I want this product to be delivered 100% quality. Now, I am sending her products which is having 70% quality. So definitely she is very unhappy. She is very unhappy and she has told us that, Mr. Mukherjee, I want all the items to be delivered to me with 100% quality. So I have to improve the quality of the product with 100% quality so that she will be happy as a customer. But in order to improve the quality of the products, I have to first improve the quality of the process that is creating that product. Otherwise, how will a product get improved? So remember, Six Sigma concentrates on quality of the process improvement. Six Sigmas, write it down. Six Sigma concentrates on process quality improvement. If the process is improved, which is creating that product, the product is surely going to get improved. We cannot improve a product or a final service if the process that is creating that is not well improved. Obviously, it is very much a logical thing. So Six Sigma as an initiative, as I told, I am yet to discuss on what exactly Six Sigma initiative. So hold on, I will discuss everything, but let us first understand all these things. So Six Sigma as an initiative talks about or helps us understand to improve the process quality. Every organization has a process. Every organization has a process. Some of you are from manufacturing organizations, some of you are from IT, some of you could be from the healthcare, some of you could be from oil and gas related organizations, some of you could be from automobile organization, some of you could be from insurance domain. Every organization has a process. Whatever be the process, every organization has a process, and Six Sigma concentrates on improvement of the quality of the process. Now the question will be, this we have already discussed, what is a process? What is a process? A process is nothing but a sequence of steps performed for a given purpose. And what is that given purpose? To produce something, whether it is a product or whether it is a service. In any process that we do, there ideally should be a written down procedure. Some of you could be from IT organization. You could be having a quality management system or a business process management system. Some of you could be from manufacturing organization where you could have an SOP or a work instructions document. Some of you could be from banking sector where you have the do's and don'ts documents. whatever name you call it. You have a procedure document defined, which each and every employees in the organization, each and every project, each and every department, each and every business unit should ideally follow and perform day in and day out. But with the help of procedures, when we follow a procedure that we need to follow in our day-to-day activities, we apply tools and techniques, various tools and techniques we apply. And who uses those tools and techniques? Who follows that procedure? The employees of the organization. So in any process, in any organization, these three ingredients are must. One is writing down a procedure which everybody should follow. Usage of tools and techniques which should be part of the procedure to be followed. And who will follow this? The employee or the people of the organization. These three goes into a vicious cycle. That is, these three goes into a vicious cycle in any organization. Now, some of you might have heard of Six Sigma as an initiative. Oh, Six Sigma, that deals with statistics. Yes, Six Sigma definitely deals with statistics. We will come to that discussion. But Six Sigma does not deal with only statistics. Six Sigma is a very logical way of doing a process improvement using many tools and techniques. That includes statistical tools and techniques. That includes quality tools and techniques. That also includes management tools and techniques. Management tools and techniques we discuss more in a black belt session. Some of this we discuss in a green belt session also. In a yellow belt session, I will give you sufficient ideas about some of the statistical tools and techniques, some of the quality tools and techniques. So you'll be well equipped to go for your further steps down the line. Okay. When I talk about any process execution in any organization, many of you, if not all, have definitely heard of Sir Edward Hemming, one of our quality guru. He has devised this thing, PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. In this respect, write down something which I am telling you. I will use my whiteboard to write this down for you. I think everybody can see my whiteboard, right? Can I have 1 or 2 thumbs up just to check whether everybody is able to see my whiteboard? Thank you so much. Okay, what you have to do? Please write this down. Six Sigma is a well-planned, well-documented, systematic, and structured way of doing a process improvement. Please write this down. This is exclusively my definition. Six Sigma is a well-planned, well-documented, systematic, and structured way of doing a process improvement. Okay, I think everybody have written it down. I will go to my slide again. Okay, so when I say Six Sigma is a well-planned, let us concentrate on that well-planned. It is a well-planned initiative. Remember, in a Six Sigma initiative, if your planning is not proper, your execution cannot be successful. So planning has to be done in very much with giving much importance to that. So for any activities that you do, you first plan it out in your organization, ideally, then you do as per that plan. And then you check whatever I planned and whatever I did, are these commensurate to each other? Is the whatever I did and as per the plan, both are matching? If yes, wonderful. If no, act upon that. Make the changes as required. And then again go to check the plan. Now everything going as per plan. At each case, in each circumstances, you have to check whether the work is being carried on as per the plan that we are having. So in a Six Sigma initiative, and this is a vicious cycle, is continuously go on. This is not a one-time activity. This continuously go on. So we have to understand that in any Six Sigma initiative, your first step is to properly plan out. Proper planning, we will learn about this gradually and then go for execution. In this slide, I will ask you to concentrate on the footnote. I will ask you to concentrate on the footnote. Okay, that is, quality is not an add-on. It has to be built in. Quality is everyone's responsibility. If I see that it is Mr. Ezra is the CEO of an organization. She cannot ideally say that quality is not my lookout. Quality is other person's lookout. The employees of my organization, they should be looking after quality. No. Quality is everybody's responsibility. Based on their role, based on their responsibility, quality should be part of your process. Quality is not something that you should skip it out outside. That first let us work, then we will do the quality. No, quality should be within your process. Now, Six Sigma, I am still to discuss what exactly is the Six Sigma, but remember, this quality initiative, Six Sigma initiative, this should be part of your culture in your organization, because I strongly believe Six Sigma initiative is not just an initiative. It is not just an initiative, it's a culture in the organization. And that culture you need to build. There are ideally 8 quality management principles in general, 8 quality management principles. One is customer focus, which I have already specified. Definitely, when you run a process, you need involvement of people. Without your employees, how can you run an organization, right? Win-win relations with suppliers, a systematic approach to management, process approach. As I told you, in a Six Sigma initiative, there should be always a process approach. Process approach and leadership. In any initiative that we have, there should always be a leadership push, because any strategy that we have in our organization, the policy, the strategy comes from the top. It's the top-down approach. So it comes from the top. That is how a leadership is always necessary for a proper monitoring and tracking. Continual improvement. This is very, very important in case of a Six Sigma initiative. If I may ask somebody, whom can I ask? Okay, if I may ask, okay, Marie Chris, if I may ask Marie Chris, could you tell me what is the meaning of continual improvement? Any idea?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
For me, continual improvement meaning never-ending improvement in a process or in a manufacturing company.
Yes. What do you mean by never-ending improvement? What do you mean by that?
It means continuous and continuous improvement, sir.
Okay. Thank you. She tried to explain, to an extent I will agree with her, but continual improvement and continuous improvements are not exactly the same thing. Continuous improvement means any improvement that we continue. Never-ending improvement, that's what she tried to say. That's fine. We are all learning together, right? We are all learning together. So continual improvement, which is very, very important for any Six Sigma initiative, it means an improvement is done and an improvement is sustained. An improvement is sustained. If I give you an example, suppose I am preparing for some professional exams. Okay. My marks in mathematics is very low. Marks in mathematics is very low. I'm getting around 50% marks all the time. But that is not good enough, right? So I just thought that, okay, let me improve my performance. So what I did, I put myself in some very good online training sessions. I put myself in some good classes. I also put myself with some good home tutors. And also I'm studying very hard now. And now in the next exam, I saw that my result in maths have increased to say 80%. So from 50%, I have improved. That means I have improved my process. Whatever way, I have improved my process and I have reached a level which is equal to 80%. Now, this 80% that I have got, I will always try, or I will always expect that these 80% marks, I will continue in all the exams going forward. I should not like it if I get 80% today, but from the next exam, again, it comes down to 50%. Even if it comes down to 50% again, that means it is not a continual improvement. That means I am not able to sustain that improvement. So in a Six Sigma initiative, whatever it means, the most important thing is to do an improvement in the process and sustain that improvement. How you can sustain? You have to monitor, you have to track that improvement till the end of the scenario. So that is called continual improvement. How long will you monitor? How long you want to sustain? That totally depends on you and your organization maturity. That depends. And Six Sigma is always, or rather 8 quality management principles, factual approach to decision making. If I ask to Mr. Carl, how is your organization doing? He will say, sir, my organization is doing fantastic. How does he know? I will ask him, how do you know your organization is doing fantastic? Sir, these are the revenue figures, these are the profit figures, these are the quality figures that I have. So based on figures only he is telling me. That means he has factual data with him based on which he is saying that my organization is doing fantastic. Otherwise, it becomes a guess, and your guess estimate can many times be wrong, or all the time it could be wrong. So remember, these are generic 8 quality management principles, and out of them, please write it down. Customer focus, process approach, continual improvement, and factual approach to decision making. That is point number 1, 5, 7, and 8 are very, very true for a Six Sigma initiative. Okay. Concept of quality. I think I have already talked about this. Process and quality are part of everyday life. It is nothing but common sense. You apply common sense in your day-to-day life. I will give you a few examples down the line. Process and quality are part of your everyday life. You apply common sense, you will see quality criteria getting resolved. Now, when I talk about, we have understood what is the concept of customer, what is the concept of quality, what is the concept of effects, what is the concept of process. And Six Sigma, we understand it is a process improvement mechanism. Whenever we do a Six Sigma initiative, we call it, we are doing a Six Sigma project. Now, what is a project? A project is a temporary endeavor. A project is a temporary endeavor to achieve something. We have a project for 3 months, we have a project for 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Every organization, we have projects. Similarly, a Six Sigma also has a project to be done. A Six Sigma has a project to be done, which is a temporary endeavor, which we will discuss later on. how a Six Sigma project has to be carried on, what could be an usual duration of a Six Sigma project to achieve something. But how a project can fail if there is no or proper estimation done. In IT organization, this is very common. Requirement management, not understanding the requirements of the customer properly. Inapplicability or lack of proper planning and monitoring. Non-availability of proper resources, not able to manage client expectations, lack of processes or standards. Configuration management is a different thing. It's called about versioning. Reviews and testing, no reviews, no testing, or inappropriate reviews and testing, inappropriate quality control and quality checks, and staff attrition. Don't you feel all these could apply to any of your organization and any of your project can fail? It might not be, all of this might not be applicable to your organization. Maybe for Abby, only estimation could be a problem. For Abigail, maybe requirement and project planning could be a problem. So that's why we always say Six Sigma is a very situational initiative. That means based on a situation in your organization, you have to understand what exactly is Six Sigma, how much we have to apply. Now, which some of you are very eagerly waiting for, I am trying to understand what is Six Sigma as a whole. Six Sigma is the customer-focused attitude. I have discussed this many, many times, right? All decisions are data-driven, not on gut feel. Gut feel is no process to an improvement. All decisions should be on gut feel, okay? No gut feel, all decisions should be data-driven. Through data, we will discuss about these things. The fourth bullet rather, I will discuss not now, I will discuss it a bit later. It's a method to achieve breakthrough improvement in process, a philosophy which mandates operational excellence. How? If an process is improved, automatically the operational part of the organization excels, and a set of tools and techniques designed to reduce variation in process and operations. This is what we are going to understand about Six Sigma. Key goals of Six Sigma. What are the key goals? We have to understand the mindset of Six Sigma, understand the concepts and the philosophy of Six Sigma, which we will gradually learn, understand the concepts, the methodologies of Six Sigma, how to handle a Six Sigma project, sustain the improvement for times to come through continual monitoring, which I told you, we have to sustain that improvement, and savings to the organization. Now, here I will again write two things for you people. Please write this down. Please write this down. Okay. Benefits to the organization. By doing a Six Sigma initiative, what are the benefits that we pass on to an organization? Number one, an improved process. That is what we will be doing in a Six Sigma initiative and passing on. Another is financial savings. I will explain this. Financial savings. By doing a Six Sigma project for your organization, on one hand, you are passing on an improved process to the organization by improving the process in whatever way. Another thing is you are passing on a financial savings to the organization. How? Suppose it is Berania who is producing some products and sending to her customer. Okay. Now the customer is very unhappy, and he has said that, Berenia, I am not happy with your quality of your products that you are sending me. Your quality of products is very bad quality, which is having around 70% quality. That means what? 30% defects. I am not happy. So the 30% defects that Berenia is passing on to the customer, what the customer will do with those defective items, he will return it back to Berenia, that please rework on this, please rectify this, please make the corrections, changes, damage control, whatever, and then send me the corrected items. That is the normal way of work, right? So whenever defective items are sent back, we work towards rework, rectification, all this work. So these are costs to the organization. The customers are not going to pay you for your rework, rectification, and all these activities. So these are your cost, additional cost. Suppose on an average, Berania is spending around 1,000 hours of efforts towards rework and rectification, all this work now. Now, after the process has been improved, and now Berenia is giving to the customer 100% quality. Say, it can happen, 100% quality you are giving. So she is giving 100% quality, and the customer is also very, very happy. Now, when you are giving 100% quality, it means what? There is no defects. When there are no defects, there are no rework, no rectification, anything. So if you multiply, so now you are saving that 1,000 hours of efforts that you were earlier spending on rework. You are saving that 1,000 hours of rework. Multiply that rework efforts with the rate card per hour of the employees who were working on the rework. You will get a financial value. So by making the quality better, by making it 100% quality, you are actually saving that much amount of financial value by doing this Six Sigma project. So this is the concept of Six Sigma that you pass on to your organization. First, by improving the process, eventually you are passing on an improved process to the organization. At the same time, you are passing on an improved financial savings to the organization. Okay, so Six Sigma benefits, improve customer satisfaction, of course. The boundary of a Six Sigma initiative starts with a customer dissatisfaction and ends with a customer satisfaction. That is the boundary of a Six Sigma initiative. It starts with a customer dissatisfaction and ends with a customer satisfaction. We have discussed about all these things. Only point, take a note of the last bullet. To do a project, the immediate solution to the problem is not known. That is Six Sigma. That is, if I come to Ahmed's organization and he tells me, sir, there is a big problem in my process, but I know what is the solution. I know how to solve it. I will simply tell him, just do it, sir. Just do. If you already know the solution, maybe you can solve it maybe in 5 hours, 5 days, 15 days, which is not possible in a Six Sigma initiative. Six Sigma initiative will be ideally applicable when there is a problem in the process. You are aware of the problem. There is a problem in the process, but you don't know how to solve it. You have to analyze. You have to analyze and find out how to solve this problem. This is what is called a Six Sigma initiative. That is, to do a Six Sigma project, the immediate solution is not known or not apparent. When I talk about trainings, we have discussed this earlier to an extent. Yellow belt I have talked about. It talks about the awareness part of the Six Sigma initiative, which I am trying to make you aware of what exactly is a Six Sigma initiative, what are the different areas of Six Sigma that you are supposed to know, what are the different techniques that should be there. A green belt training, I will say, is the first set of training where you learn Six Sigma in quite a bit of detail, where you do many hands-on on statistical tools and analysis, quality tools and analysis, and also on some management tools and analysis. Of course, green belt training differs from organization to organization. Each organization has a different specific duration of the training. That is about the green belt training. A black belt training, as I said, the conception of the Six Sigma remains the same. But whatever you have learned in a green belt session, exactly the same thing you will probably learn in a black belt session. But in a black belt session, of course, you'll be learning many additional things, many more things, many advanced things. And of course, the duration of the black belt training will also be different. Okay, so these are different hierarchies of the training. As we move up, you will learn more. Okay, having now the Six Sigma as an evolution. Six Sigma as an initiative originated originally around 1960-61 from an organization which is called TPS, Toyota Production System in Japan. Around the year 1960-61, they started off with Lean Six Sigma as an initiative, ideally from the manufacturing organization. And later, this Six Sigma as an initiative flourished in many other organizations down the line. Okay, the current Six Sigma as an initiative that we see is more common, more popular in US, which started off in the Motorola organization. Just give me a moment, please. Just give me a moment. Okay, so as I said, the modern Six Sigma gained momentum in US from an organization called Motorola around the year 1985-86. 1985-86. They started off Six Sigma in a very big way. And in 1995, it was GE who started off Six Sigma in a big way. And I was very fortunate enough to join this organization in the year 1998 in US. I was very fortunate enough to join GE, and I will keep on sharing some of my experiences with you down the line. So this is how Six Sigma has evolved over time. It has been one of the heart of process improvement initiative in many organizations. I have seen many organizations who practice Lean and Six Sigma. Lean, I will come afterwards. Lean and Six Sigma, they have flourished their process to a greater extent. Now, try to understand this particular expression. Y is equal to F within bracket X. Please write it down. There are many things written down the line. Don't read all this now. I will explain it up. Y is the output. F is the process or function. And X is the input or inputs. Y is the output. F is the process or function. And X is the input or inputs. What does it mean? Inputs put under process creates outputs. Is it something that you people don't know? Everybody knows it, right? The output is created by inputs put under process, we get the output, right? By Y, the output is coming at the first. Why output is coming at the first? Why output is coming at the first? Because in a Six Sigma initiative, in order to satisfy our customer, our concentration is towards producing an improved product or service. But how can an product or service be improved if we don't focus on improving the process? That's why our focus always should be on the F, that is the process or function, which I have already told you that in a Six Sigma initiative, our concentration is always on improving the process quality, not the product quality. If the process quality is improved, our product quality will definitely improve. So our concentration is to improve the product and the service, but our focus is always on the process quality in a Six Sigma initiative. We have already discussed this. there are two kinds of customers, where here they are written three, but ideally top management are also part of the internal customers. Okay, so basically I will always classify customers into two parts, internal and external. I have already told you we will take a break after half an hour. Okay, we will take a break after half an hour. Now, we have already said that whenever we talk about a Six Sigma initiative, I told you that the boundary of any Six Sigma initiative starts with a customer's dissatisfaction and ends with a customer satisfaction. So this customer's dissatisfaction is expressed by a terminology which is called VOC, or voice of the customer. Voice of the customer means it is the customer's dissatisfaction, the way they express, that is the VOC, or the customer's dissatisfaction. Now, whenever there is a customer dissatisfaction which you people can relate to your organizations, can be obtained in many ways, by one-to-one interviews with the customer. You have a call with the customer to know what is their dissatisfaction. We have surveys done. Surveys in many organizations I have seen, which is probably one of the best way of doing a customer dissatisfaction understanding, that you provide some parameters to the customers. These are the parameters which we work upon. How do you rate us on all these parameters in a range of 1 to 10? Ideally, you will expect all the ratings should be between 8, 9, and 10. But if there is something which the customer is not happy, he will definitely rate you low with a comment that could eventually lead to an improvement to a process. Focus groups. In banking sectors, we see there are customer relationship managements, customer relationship people who deal with a few savvy customers to understand their dissatisfaction. Sir, you had been to the business bank that day to open a bank account. So how was your experience? How would you like to rate our experience like this? So we understand that way. Observing the customer is not a good way of doing. So let us not discuss about this, because your observation on the customer could be 100% wrong. Last one is a customer complaint. Spending 30 plus years in quality and process improvement, I myself will not appreciate any customer complaints to come. But it happens in any organization. You have a customer complaint or a customer escalation. That means the customer is definitely not happy with something. Whenever we talk about customers and the voice of the customer, I will again write down few things on the whiteboard or make you understand certain things very clear. Everything is there in your material, but I will try to explain this in a better way so that you can understand this in a quick way. Okay, please write this down. Voice of the customer. Please write it first, then I will explain, which is the dissatisfaction of the customer. Next is critical to quality, which is called CTQ, which is the target given by or agreed upon by the customer. And the last one is upper and lower specification limits, which are called USL and LSL. And also write this down, which I will explain. First, write it down. And after writing down, just put a thumbs up for me so that I can start explaining. Yes, thank you, Abby. Few more, okay. Few more thumbs up so that I can start. I have got 2 thumbs ups. A few more, okay. Okay, I think we can start now. As I said, voice of the customer is the terminology that we use. Okay, somebody is cooking something on the chat window. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, yes. Good. So, voice of the customer, as I said, is the term that we use to understand the dissatisfaction of the customer. That is the dissatisfaction of the customer. Now, whenever, suppose I am having a business with Abby, I am her customer. Okay. Now, Abby, I call you up and say, I am not happy with your product quality, which is having 80%. I am always giving you a very simple example to understand. Okay. 80% which is your quality, you are giving me 20% defects, which is making me very unhappy. So you understand your voice of the customer. What the customer is trying to express is dissatisfaction you got, as because the customer is getting 20% defects, he is very unhappy. Automatically, Abby's next question to the customer will be, sir, what is your expectation? What is your expectation? How much you want as a quality? If I tell Abby now, Abby, I will need 100% quality. It's a legitimate asking. I can ask 100% quality. That means what? 100% quality means what? 0% defect. So this is a target which is given by the customer or agreed upon by the customer. Remember, this is called the critical to quality of the CTQ. A CTQ is something that you derive from the VOC. When you have a dissatisfaction from the customer, from the dissatisfaction, you bring out, after discussion with the customer, his or her target. How much the customer wants, how much the customer wants as a target. So this 100% is 100% quality if the customer has asked for. That is what you have to, that is what you have to meet. That is the target given by or agreed upon by the customer. Remember, a CTQ has always to be given by the customer only. You cannot define your CTQ. You can suggest, sir, 100% I will not be able to give. Maybe, sir, if I give you 95%, is that okay? He says, okay, very kind-hearted man, your customer is. He says, okay, 95% I agree. So that means he agrees on that. So then it becomes a CTQ. And now, as I said, voice of the customer in that case earlier, what was the situation? You were having greater than equal to 30% defects. Greater than equal to 30% defects. Now your critical quality is, it is having less than equal to 5% defects. That what the customer has given you, that I want 95% quality. Greater than equal to 95% quality. That means my defect should be maximum 5%. So I should have a defect of less than equal to 5% defects. That is the target of the CTQ, which is finalized with the customer. Now, whenever you have a CTQ finalized, from the CTQ, we derive the USL and the LSL. So in this case, when your critical to quality is less than equal to 5%, less than equal to 5% means what? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, right? That is the range. So your USL will be 5% and LSL by default will be 0%. That is what we have to understand. So you understand one thing which I wrote at the end. From the VOC, we derive our CTQ, and from our CTQ, we derive the USL and LSL. And please write it down. When we have the USL and LSL, this becomes our final target that we have to reach by doing a Six Sigma project. So finally, by doing a Six Sigma project, you have to reach your USL and LSL, because that is derived from the CTQ, which is given by your customer. So if you reach the USL and LSL, that means you are improving your process to that extent that you reach your USL and LSL. That means you attain your USL, LSL. That means in one way you are attaining your CTQ in one way. So that means you are successful in doing your Six Sigma project, which we are going to further understand. So POC we have understood. Now you see over here, there is a term which is called target. This target is nothing but the CTQ which is given by or agreed with the customer. And as I told you, from the target, we derive the specification limits, because when your CTQ is identified by the customer, when your CTQ is identified by the customer, your initial interaction with the customer can stop, because you have already got the target given by your customer. Now you should start your work, and your work will be now from the CTQ, you derive your USL, LSL, and now go for improvement of your process, which we are going to learn how and attain your USL and LSL. That is what you are going to do. So when you have your USL and LSL derived from your Six Sigma CTQ, that becomes your ultimate target. We have already discussed this. What could be a Six Sigma opportunity? Any problem or pain area might not lead to a Six Sigma project. Any problem or pain area which does not have an immediate solution, which you have to analyze and find out, will ideally go for a Six Sigma initiative. Okay. Now, a Six Sigma project, I'm reading out few things. A Six Sigma project is a methodical approach. I talked about that systematic and structured way of doing a process improvement, which you have written. It is nothing but a methodical approach, which follows statistically and qualitatively. Didn't I tell you that Six Sigma does not deal with only statistical tools and techniques? It also deals with quality tools and techniques and management tools and techniques. So it is statistically and qualitatively driven way to achieve definite improvement in a process or even to introduce a new process. It leads to definite savings to the organization, may it be in percentage or in whatever financial values, and it has to be constantly reviewed and retuned to sustain that improvement. I told you Six Sigma is a continual improvement process. That means you do an improvement. Doing an improvement is comparatively easy, but sustaining that improvement for times to come is not so easy. So we have to always take care of that. Now, when I talk about Six Sigma project, there are always two kinds of projects that we mainly handle. One is a DMAIC methodology, another is a DMAIC methodology. Globally, 90 to 95% of Six Sigma projects are of DMAIC types. What is a DMAIC type? A DMAIC type happens when there is a process in your organization and you want to improve that existing process. Then comes DMAIC methodology. And what is the DMAIC methodology? DMAIC methodology, which is not very common in nature. 5 to 10% of global Six Sigma projects are of DMAIC types, where you can say that DMAIC types ideally happens when there is no process in your organization and you want to design a new process altogether. In those cases, a DMAIC comes into place. Okay. So our concentration in a yellow belt training will be more on the DMAIC, because that is the most commonly used Six Sigma process which is being done. In a DMAIC cycle, there are 5 phases that we should understand. One is define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. In a DMAIC, again, there are 5 phases: define, measure, analyze, design. You see, I told you it's a new designing, so that's why there is no improve. Improve can happen when there is something existing and I want to improve. And finally, it is verification or validation, which talks about whatever I wanted to design, is it done properly? We will concentrate more on the DMAIC cycle, as Michelle has said. In the define phase, we talk about what is the problem, measure how much is the problem, analyze why is the problem, improve how to improve the problem, and control how to sustain and control the improvement. I will explain this cycle with a very good example from our day-to-day life. Say, whom do I pick? Say it is Ram. Say it is Ram who has gone to a doctor. Okay, Ram has gone to a doctor. Now, when Ram has gone to a doctor with some problems, he is not keeping well. That's why he's gone to the doctor. I told you Six Sigma can well be understand from our day-to-day perspective. This is an example I'm giving that way. So Ram visits a doctor. He is not keeping well. So when he visits the doctor first question he will ask, what are your problems? He will ask, right? That is the first thing the doctor will ask. So Ram will start explaining, sir, I'm having headaches, I'm having backache, I'm having this problem, I'm having that problem. That means what? He is defining his problems. That is what we do in the define phase. After that, the doctor does what? He takes his thermometer. He measures his temperature with a thermometer. He measures his blood pressure reading. He measures his oximeter reading to check his oxygen intake and pulse reading. That means what? He measures how much is his problem. He measures, the doctor is now measuring how much are the problems. Then the doctor does what? Then the doctor suggests, okay, please go through all these pathological tests, blood tests and all, and come back with these reports to me. Then I will start my treatment. Very good. So Ram goes for the pathological test, and after a few days, he comes back with the reports. Then the doctor analyzes that report, right? Okay, you have a problem, an infection in the blood. That's why you are having temperature. You are having this problem. That's why you are having backache. You are having this problem. That's why you are having this dizziness or giddiness, whatever. So that means what? Now he is analyzing the problem, why there is a problem. That's what we do in the analyze phase. And after fully analyzing what is the reason of his problem, what he does, he suggests the medicines, he prescribes the medicines. Why he prescribes the medicines? To improve his condition. That's what we do in the improve phase. And after giving the medicine, say for 15 days, what the doctor generally says, okay, Mr. Ram, please pay a visit after 15 days and let me know how you are doing. Or, sir, please give me a phone call to let me know how you are doing. That means he wants to ensure whether the improvement is sustained even after 15 days. That is what we try to ensure in a control phase. So that's what we learn in the DMAIC cycle, which is the most commonly used Six Sigma methodology that we use in our day-to-day life in any organization that we discuss. Remember this psychology. This is a mindset change. I told you for a Six Sigma initiative, we need to have some mindset change. Sir Edward Deming is of the opinion that 85% of the reasons for failure to meet customers' expectations are related to deficiencies in systems and processes rather than the employee. The role of the management is to change the process rather than pushing individuals to do better. So this is what we have to understand. We in a Six Sigma initiative should strive towards fact-finding exercise and not a fault-finding exercise. In a Six Sigma initiative, like any other quality management areas, we should strive towards a fact-finding exercise and not a fault-finding exercise. Okay. There are always three, you remember when we were discussing about quality, we discussed about two things: meeting and exceeding customers' expectations. Meeting and exceeding customers' expectations. So till now, we have always discussed about meeting the expectations. Now I will talk you something about exceeding the expectations, which we discussed through a model which is called a Kano model. Okay. Now, there are always, in a Kano model, we try to understand that there are always three stages of customer satisfaction. One is a must be, one is a satisfier or comforter, and another is a delighter. I will explain this with another very good example. Suppose it is Ajra who is traveling in India, or maybe I will take some other person, say it is Ankit Srivastava, who is traveling in India in a domestic flight from Mumbai to Bangalore. Okay, he's traveling Mumbai to Bangalore. So he goes to the airport. He's the customer for the airlines. He goes to the airport. And when he goes to the airport, what is his must be expectations? That I will get a proper boarding pass, I will get a proper seat number, and I will sit, I will not go standing in the aircraft. That is the bare minimum expectation that Ankit has. So these are his must be expectations. So now he checks in, he gets his boarding pass. He also tells the attendant, could you please get me a window seat? The person said, okay, sir, let me see. He marks a seat number. So now he passes through the security checks and all, and now he boards the flight. When he boards the flight and he shows the boarding pass to the air hostess tells him, okay, sir, that is your seat number. So in the boarding pass, it is written 5A, and now Ankit sits on a seat which is 5A. So his must be expectations are met. He is not going standing. He is sitting in a seat, and that too is a window seat. All his must be expectations are met. Now, after sitting for some time, Ankit feels he has a very good, well cushioned seat and very good leg space. Very good, well cushioned seat and very good leg space. Very good leg space. So what happens? That makes him more satisfied, right? That makes him more satisfied. So this is the case when you are having a satisfaction level. Okay. So that is a satisfaction level. That means now the customer is very satisfied. Yes. What else he wants? He does not want anything else, right? So Ankit was sitting, suddenly he was served with a delightful meal, which he never ordered. So in this case, Ankit is delighted to have the meal. He will say, I never ordered for a meal, and it's like a 5-star meal which has been provided to him. So now Ankit is delighted because this is something which is exceeding his expectations. So this is the concept of delighters. So always there are 3 stages, but my caution is always try to make your customer satisfied. When your customer is asking for 95% quality, try to give him 95%. Even if you have overachieved, which in many Six Sigma initiative I have seen that people overachieve and they try to commit to the customer, sir, you have asked for 95%, I will give you 98%. Don't do that immediately. Take some time to ensure that at 98% quality, whatever you are having is well sustained, and then go for the initiative, then go for the delighting the customers. So your work as a customer, as a Six Sigma initiative will be to make your customer satisfied. If your customer is satisfied, a customer is satisfied when all his expectations are met. If you want to delight him, exceed his expectations, before that, ensure properly that your improvement is well sustained or not. Then only go for delighting. So your first criteria will be to make your customer satisfied. We discussed about quality. In many of your organizations, You definitely know some KPIs which are there in your organization, key process indicators, KPIs, in like schedule variance could be one KPI, schedule variance could be one KPI, then your effort variance could be one KPI, first time right could be one KPI. Similarly, there is one KPI which is called cost of quality. Cost of quality means any cost that we incur to maintain a quality. And this cost of quality are ideally of two types. One is cost of good quality, another is cost of poor quality. Now, what is cost of good quality? Cost of good quality is that quality which we incur, the cost that we incur to maintain a good quality. Cost like reviews testing, audits, cost towards quality control, quality checks, cost towards training. Why we do this cost? Why we incur this cost? So that the defects are detected beforehand, before it goes to the customer, so that our quality improves. So these are cost of good quality. And what is cost of poor quality? The concept of poor quality is different. The concept of poor quality basically states that cost of poor quality is that you have already generated some poor quality. That means you have passed on some defects to the customer already. Now, what the customer will do? They will return you back the defective items. The boss, please rectify this and send me the corrected items. So you are spending work towards rework, rectification, and all these areas. So these are cost of poor quality, okay, which is not really expected or acceptable. Ideally, you should not have it. So any organization should ideally try, mark my words, ideally try to make cost of poor quality to zero if possible, and cost of good quality should be tried to make it balanced or controlled. How can you make your cost of poor quality zero? If you can produce quality items or improving your process, you make your items or product or service 100% quality. That means what? There are no defects. So automatically there will be no cost of poor quality. So you can attain that if possible. But cost of good quality, you cannot have it zero. You cannot have any organization with no training cost, no audits, no reviews testing, no quality control, but you can have it as per the requirement of the organization. That's why I said Six Sigma is very situational. If you feel my organization process is very matured, I can reduce my quality control to an extent. But so that decisions have to be taken in individual perspective. We will talk about toll gate process. What is a toll gate process? Toll gate process is something which talks about a checkpoint review that we do after each and every phase of a Six Sigma project. That is, after define phase, we do a define toll gate process. After measure, we do a measure toll gate process. After analyze, we do an analyze toll gate process. After improve, we do an improve toll gate process. And after control, we do a control toll gate process. It is to check whatever work we were supposed to do in the define phase, are we done to the fullest extent? Can we now move to the measure phase? Same way for all the other phases, so that there are no surprises later on and we don't have to do some rework. It will save our time and we can finish off a Six Sigma project on time. So toll gate process is a very, very important management review that we do in case of a Six Sigma initiative, to understand that in any Six Sigma initiative, a toll gate review is one of the vital ingredients that you should always follow in case of a Six Sigma initiative, to check whether the work that we are doing for each and every phases are good. Can we move to the next phase? Now we will step into the define phase of the Six Sigma methodology. But I think before we move to the define phase, we can have a 15 minutes break, or maybe we can have a 10 minutes break. Okay. okay? Because there are quite a lot of things to have. I think, Michelle, we can have a break, right, for 10 minutes? Okay, so let us have a break of 10 minutes and we will exactly come back after 10 minutes and then start with our defined phase of the Six Sigma methodology, okay? Thank you. So let us start with our further understanding. I think all of you are back in 10 minutes. So let us start with our discussion. Okay. So all of you are there. Like some of you could put a thumbs up just to understand whether all of you are there. A few thumbs up, one or two. Yes, yes, good, good, good. Okay, so let us now start understanding the define phase of the Six Sigma project. In a define phase of a Six Sigma project, there are two artifacts or two deliverables which we should always keep in mind. Number one is a project charter. Right? Whenever you do any project in any organization, ideally, there is a project plan followed by a project closure at the end. I will try to state that a project charter is something like a project plan which you do ideally at the start of the project. Okay, the project charter. Project charter is basically talking about what are the different things that you are doing because of which you are doing the Six Sigma project. It's a written document, and in a project charter, there are many elements which are the contents of a project charter. You can put a business case. A business case is ideally a paragraph or two to describe what are the reasons that you are doing this Six Sigma project. What are the problems that is there, that the customer is not happy with something. That's why we are going to improve this particular process to have something in place. So that is what we are doing. We also state the problem and the goal statement. What is the problem, specific problem because of which we are doing this Six Sigma project, and what are the goals that we want to achieve. Your goal ideally should be actually your CTQ that we are going to achieve. Then we also talk about the scope of the project. Like if it is Alex who is trying to improve, suppose he is working in the operations department in his organization, and he is trying to improve a process which is related to his operations department. Okay, and there are three sub processes, A, B, and C. And Alex is trying to improve a process which is related to only process B. So in the scope in, he will state that my process is going for improvement in only process B. Process A and C are out of scope. So that provides a clear understanding of the boundary of the improvement that he or she is trying to understand. A project charter should also include a milestone description. You see, on the fourth from the left, the fourth block from the left, there is something called milestone, which I have highlighted. Milestone basically talks about the planned duration of the Six Sigma methodology. What is the planned duration? That is, what is the planned duration of the project? That is, when you should start and when you will be presenting, etc., etc. What is the milestone that you are going to have? When you are going, what is your planned start date of defined phase? What is your planned end date of defined phase? Planned start date of measure phase, planned end date of measure phase, planned start date of analyze phase, planned end date of analyze phase, planned start date of improve phase, planned end date of improve phase, planned start date of control phase, and planned end date of improve phase. So this way you can define your milestone, which will basically talk about how much duration you would want to have a Six Sigma initiative in place, and also a team formation, because a Six Sigma project ideally is not a single person's job. Ideally, when you do a Six Sigma project in your organization, it will be a team effort, where ideally there should be a green belt or a black belt who will be leading the initiative. And there are other people like yellow belts and associates who will be part as a team member, and they will do the Six Sigma project till completion. Okay. Your goal, that whatever you have, that is your CTQ, should be smart. That is, it should be specific, it should be measurable. Because if I tell you, okay, Abby, I am not happy with your quality, try to improve to the maximum. What is that maximum? That is very vague, right? Maximum is not measurable. Maximum could be anything for anyone. So So you have to be very specific. That is, how much is that maximum? Whether it is 95% or 96%, something like this. So it should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be attainable, relevant for the organization, and time bound. You cannot say, okay, I am doing a Six Sigma project and I will complete it whenever I have time. No, you cannot say this. Ideally, a green belt project should be completed between 2 to 4 months, and an ideal black belt project should be completed in 4 to 6 months time. Ideally, it should be completed like this. This is a sample project charter, which this presentation will be shared with you. I will share with Michelle, as some of you are interested to have a look at this. So we in IMC have a total package that we want to share. I will share this presentation with Michelle, and she will share the packages with you, the total package that she will share with you. Okay. So after the project charter, we also have another quality analysis that we want to do, is to define the current process on a high level. Because if I come to Dara's organization and Dara says, sir, I am going to improve my process through a Six Sigma methodology. Very good. But are you aware of your current process? Because if you are not aware of your current process, how can you improve your current process? So for that, you need to prepare a SIPOC analysis. A SIPOC analysis is just defining your current process on a high level, defining your current process on a high level, differentiating between who is your supplier, what is the input coming from the supplier, what is the process that you are in, what is the process that you perform in a hierarchical way from top to bottom, what is the output that you create from the process, and who is my customer who is getting that. In some organizations, your customer and supplier could be the same person. How? The customer provides you the raw materials. So he is acting as a supplier also. He provides the raw materials, you take it as an input, you put it under process, you get an output, and you send the finished products to the same customer. This is how you have to define your high-level process, That is for the define phase. Now we are coming to the measure phase. In the measure phase, define phase, what we discussed, what is the problem? We discussed what is the business case, what is the problem statement, what is the goal statement, what is the information, what is the milestone, what is the high-level the process that we have, SIPOC. In the measure phase, we talk about how much is the problem. That means we start understanding the quantification. Now, you remember in the course of Six Sigma methodology, we described there was one bullet of attaining 3.4 defect rate per million, which I told you. Just ignore it for the time being. I will not explain it now. I will explain it later. This is the time when I'm going to explain. This table is a globally statistically accepted table. Globally statistically accepted table. Globally statistically accepted table. Where you see there is a sigma level. I am not going to tell you what is a sigma level at this moment. After some time, I will tell you. Okay. But one thing, forget about the column of the cost of quality. Forget about it. It is just as an example. But come from the bottom, you will see when we are at 1 sigma level, my defect rate is 690,000 out of 1 million opportunity. When I am at 2, the defect rate is decreasing. When I'm at 3, the defect rate is further decreasing. And when I'm finally at 6, it is only 3.4 defect rate out of 1 million opportunity. So 3.4 defect rate out of 1 million opportunity, you can understand, it is almost like a 0 defect category. Okay, so one thing, just understand it right now. You rise up the sigma level, your defect rate is decreasing. So in a Six Sigma initiative, that is our outcome. when I do a Six Sigma initiative, it is my obligation to ensure that whatever way we calculate, our sigma value should be higher. My sigma value after process improvement should be higher, whatever it is. If initially I'm at 1 sigma level, after improvement, I could be at 4 sigma level or 5 sigma level, whatever the case may be. So that we will learn. What is this sigma thing we will learn? But one thing is for sure, only for your understanding over here, sigma level increases, you see the defect rate is decreasing. And how a defect rate can decrease? A defect can decrease when only you improve your process. So by improving your process, try to understand this cycle. Improving your process, you are reducing your defects and problems from the process. And when you reduce defects and problems from the process, your sigma value is increasing. That is how we have to perform in a Six Sigma initiative. Detailed process mapping. This is one of the very important components that we learn in a Six Sigma initiative. Detailed process mapping. Detailed process mapping is defining your current process in very much detail. There are always 3 components. One is value-added activities, non-value-added activities, and value-enabling activities. What is value-added activities? Value-added activities are those activities which are acknowledged and recognized by the customer, and they're ready to pay you for that. What are non-value-added activities? Non-value-added activities are those activities which are not recognized and acknowledged by your customer, and they definitely don't pay you for this. Examples are rework and rectification work. Do your customer pay you for this? They don't pay you for this, right? Another one is value enabling activities. This is very interesting. Value enabling activities means any activities, value enabling activities are those activities, even if they are not paid by the customer, but we need this for enabling more values. By here, more values, we mean more quality, more better products and service. So value like training, reviews and testing, quality control, quality checks in a manufacturing organization. Why we do this? So that more product and services becomes better, more quality are achieved. So this is where we define our total value enabling activities. In any detailed process mapping, you can simply do it with your flowchart symbols. That is, you define in detail your total process that you have now. You define it in detail, which will ideally have those 3 components. And flowchart symbols are very well understood by everybody nowadays. All professionals understand this. You can use Excel sheets, Excel reports for defining, or you can use Visio tool. Visio is a very common tool which you can use to define your detailed process mapping. So detailed process mapping is very, very much necessary. If you remember, I have already written, and you have written it down too, Six Sigma is a well-planned and etc. Well-planned means you have to have certain plans in place. So one of the very important plans that we have is the data collection plan that we have. In a major phase, we have to prepare a data collection plan. In a data collection plan, we basically try to state what type of data we will need to perform our Six Sigma project. If I'm trying to improve a defect-related problem, I will definitely collect data related to past defects. Okay, who will collect the data from my team? By what date the data has to be collected? From what source the data has to be collected? And how much data we will collect? In a Six Sigma initiative, like all other quality management terms, we always work with the sample data, not exactly the full data, which is called the population data. We always try to get some sample data, which is a random sampling. We have to do a random sampling. Some from the top, some from the middle, some from the bottom. This is how we have to collect some sample data, provided my data is very big. If my data is already small, you need not do a sample. You can take the full data as your sample and do the work on. This is one sample of the data collection plan, but in any Six Sigma initiative, any of the plan formats or templates, nothing is common. You can download any format from the internet and use it for your use. There are always 3 M's that we learn towards statistical analysis. One is mean, another is median, another is mode. Many of you could be already aware of this terminology. Mean in statistical terms means average. The word average in statistical terms means mean. What is median? Suppose there is a set of number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Which is the median? The median is the median. Okay. Which is the median? The median is the 50th value. That is the value 6. Why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 numbers before that, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 5 numbers after that. So 6 is the middle value. That is the median that we have. Okay. And what is mode? Mode is something like if which number is appearing the maximum number of times. If there is a set of number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Which number is appearing for the maximum number of time? It is the number 6. So 6 is the mode. Okay. In most of our statistical analysis, we will ideally accept mean as our central tendency. Ideally, 99% of the cases we will use mean. Only in some very rare cases, which we discuss in our black belt sessions, we use median to an extent. Okay. Objectives of variation. What is a variation? The concept of variation means deviation from the mean. If I tell you in any process, variation is inevitable. If I say Elias is a very consistent performer, his average marks in all his professional exams is 90%. Does it mean that he always scores 90, 90, 90, 90? That is not possible, right? Sometimes he scores 89, sometimes 88, sometimes 91, sometimes 92, sometimes 93. So that means in any process, variation is inevitable. But our work to have a good process is to check whether the variations are closer to the mean as much as possible. So that is the concept of variations. Variations are always of 2 kinds: common cause variation and special cause variation. Common cause variations are the examples that I gave you right now. They are very common in nature, which are normal in nature, which should always remain in a process. And special cause variations are the unexpected and unpredictable variations, which are unexpected and unpredictable variations. That is, which are, suppose if there is an average of 90%, you are getting 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, suddenly 130%. Which is way below the average performance, nowhere closer to the 90%. These are special cause variations actually, which we should ignore. And the measure statistically that measures the variation is called standard deviation. Standard deviation is the measure that calculates the variation from the mean. Okay. Population and sample. When we talk about data, there are always 2 sets of data. One is a continuous data, which is a measured data, which can appear in decimal or fraction. Another is a discrete data. Discrete data are also divided into 2 parts. One is a binary data. Binary data always have 2 numbers. Binary data has always two answers: good, bad, yes, no, pass, fail, married, unmarried, defective, non-defective, like this. And there is also a discrete count data. Count data is always a whole number data. Number of times I called up Birania. Number of times Abigail called up Abby. Number of calls cannot be 10.50. It can be 10 or 1 or 5 or 100, whatever. So these are count data. So continuous data is a measured data which can be represented in decimal or fraction. And discrete data, there is binary where there are two options available. Another is a count data, which is always like count data means which is a whole number data. We always talk about Six Sigma and statistics ideally handles a normal data. Normal data means a normal data where most of the data are closer to the mean. More the variation, the data is going away from the mean. More the variation means more the standard deviation, which is going away from the mean. So always we have to see that the data is more or less closer to the mean. That is what we always do, right? When we say that our performance is always closer to my average, we always say that we are a very consistent performer. That is what is talked about in a normal Six Sigma curve or a normal data. A normal data also means that there is no abnormality. That means there is no special cause variation in the data. All my data has only common cause variation, and these data are closer to the mean. As much the standard deviation increases, the data spreads away from the mean, which is ideally not good. We will just give you a hint of a Minitab tool, which is one of the very common tools, statistical tool that we use in case of a Six Sigma initiative. Because whenever we go for a green belt or a black belt session, we will always use a Minitab tool for our statistical analysis and techniques. So Minitab tool is one of the most common, I will say, most common statistical tool globally, which we use for any statistical analysis that we go ahead. Okay. Now, statistically, when we talk about graphical analysis, we have few graphical analysis like histogram, which also you can do on an Excel sheet. But in Excel sheet, you cannot do everything that we can do statistically in a Minitab. Okay, so in a histogram, as you can see, it talks about the frequency distribution, ideally for continuous set of data. When my data is a continuous data, we do a histogram to check what are the frequency distribution. Between 20 to 30 years of age, how many people? Between 30 to 40 years of age, how many are there people? These are not talking about your numbers, but it's talking about the frequency between 30 to 40, between 40 to 50. Whereas if I talk about bar graph, it talks about a number. How many are 40 to 50 people, 40 to 50 years of age? How many are 60 to 70 years of age? It talks about an actual number. Remember, identification of the data, whether it's a continuous or whether it's a discrete data, is very, very important. Why? Because based on that, we define whether we will go for what type of statistical tool. If it is a continuous data, we go for some specific tools and techniques. If we go for discrete data, we go for some specific tools and techniques. We cannot use all tools and techniques for everybody. Okay, so this is what is talking about the bar chart also. Now, we will now discuss about a quick example of a probability distribution. Probability distribution is a concept which talks about the possible probability of a chance of certain incidents happening based on a given situation. This is just an example to show you. On an average, 2% of the transactions processed in a process are defective. On a particular day, out of 400 transactions audited, 21 turned out to be defectives. is it an indication that the process performance deteriorated that day? Or is it a probability that the process performance deteriorated that day? We will have a set of data for each of these exercises. We will go to our mini tab, which we will definitely learn in a green belt session. We will go to a mini tab session and work out this and come out with the answer. So in a probability distribution, just to explain you the concept, we try to understand what is the possibility of a chance. Probability to explain in a very simple way. If it is Alex has a coin and he wants to toss the coin. What is the probability that there will be a head? The head probability is 50% because the other 50% is a tail. That is the concept of probability distribution. Okay. Next is measurement system analysis. Measurement system analysis, what we do in a measurement system analysis, which we also called gauge R&R, where we try to measure some data and find out the analysis. We measure some data and we find out the analysis. How much? Suppose I give one data to Abby and Abigail, that both of you please calculate the call duration. Now, in this example, if you see, given the data below for reading by 3 appraisers on 6 calls with 2 trains, determine whether the measurement system is acceptable. So there are 3 appraisers, and each of these appraisers 2 times measures 6 call durations. Ideally, it is the same call duration that they are measuring. So ideally, their readings will ideally be 100% same, but it is not same. You see, there are differences in the figures. So in a measurement system analysis, we try to understand how much is the variation in the measurement and how much variation we should accept in the measurement. That's what we learn in a measurement system analysis. We now discuss about process capability. You remember the sigma value thing? The sigma value thing or the process capability, it talks about the process maturity. How much matured is your process at the moment? How much matured is your process at the moment? For a process capability, for a continuous data, we calculate the process with a method called process capability index or CPK, where we try to find out that compared to the USL and LSL, you remember USL, LSL, which I described, that is the final target that we have to achieve. In case of a final target, that we have to achieve for USL, LSL, how much is my average performance away from the USL and LSL? That is what we try to find out from the process capability index for a continuous data. Okay, and then for discrete data, what we do, for the discrete data, we try to calculate process capability with a method which is called defect per million opportunity. Defect per million opportunity. Defect per million opportunity, it means how much so it is talking about defect per million opportunity. So process capability for a continuous data, we talk about for process capability for continuous data, we calculate with process capability index or CPK method, and for discrete data, we calculate with the defects per million opportunity. Through an expression, through an equation, we find out how many defects possibility are there out of 1 million opportunity for each and every 1 million opportunity. Out of this, we get a CPK value and a DPMO value. And what we do in case of a process capability, we follow a Z table. We follow a Z table where we try to understand. If you see On the rightmost column, we have a CPK value, and in the leftmost value, we have a TPMO value. And we also have a column which is called sigma short-term ZST, where you see at the top, it is 6. So this is the sigma value that you will find out. Again, CPK value of something, what is the sigma value? And what is that against that DPMO value? What is the sigma value? So that is the sigma value which we showed you earlier in the first table. So that is the sigma value. Initially, when my process is not well improved, definitely my sigma value will be very much at the lower bottom of the table, lower part of the table. But that's what we have to finally improve and take it closer to that 6 sigma level, to the most that we can. This is how a sigma process capability has to be explained. To give you an example of a sigma capability, the cycle time in minutes of each transaction in a day in both the shifts has been calculated. You see, there are 2 shifts, shift 1 and shift 2, and the cycle time has been stated. The SLA of cycle time of the process is 60 minutes. Calculate the process capability of the cycle time. So the cycle time process capability we have to calculate, and as because it is a concept of time, it can be represented even in decimal or fractions. So ideally decimals, so it can come as a continuous data. So in the Minitab, when we do, we have to calculate the CPK way of doing things and get the Z value corresponding to the Z figures. The analyze part, if you remember, with there are too many things to learn actually, you know. So, and here in a yellow belt, we are giving you the conceptions, which we will elaborate gradually in a green belt or further in a black belt more. So in a brainstorming, okay, in an analyze phase, till now, we have done our define phase, which is talking about what is the problem. In the measure phase, we have understood how much is the problem, how much is my probability distribution, how much is my measurement system analysis, how much is my data, how much is my process capability. In the analyze phase, we talk about brainstorming session. Why is a problem? In a brainstorming session, we try to identify the root causes of the problem. In the analyze phase, we try to identify the root causes of the problem. What are the root causes? Why this problem is happening? And from the brainstorming session, we prepare the cause and effect analysis, which many of you could be already aware of, which is also called a fishbone analysis or a cause and effect analysis or a fishbone diagram or a cause and effect diagram. I prefer to call it a cause and effect analysis, where all the root causes that you have found out, we try to put all the high-level root causes under respective heads. All the high-level root causes under respective heads, like person, method, equipment, environment, measurement, materials. Nowadays, the evolution of total quality management is there is no hard and fast category on which you have to identify the root causes. You can identify the root causes in whatever category you feel is logical for your organization. At one point of time, we used to define always under man, method, material, machine, measurement, and mother nature. But that is not the case now. The current evolution of quality states that you can define it very unique for your organization if it is very logical. After this is cause and effect analysis is done, that means you identify and categorize all the root causes under respective heads. Why it is necessary? Because from its categorization, you can understand which area finally I have to. Hello? Which area I have to eventually concentrate more for the improvement. Over here, you see method and equipment are having the majority of the root causes. So we can understand, okay, method and equipment are the areas which are having the maximum problem. These we have to look at more. So this is how we have to understand the root causes and accordingly work on this. But just doing a cause and effect analysis will not help. We have to do a why analysis also for each of the root causes that we have identified in the cause and effect analysis. I will give you one example. Why are you throwing sawdust on the floor? Because the floor is slippery and unsafe. Why is the floor slippery and unsafe? Because there is oil on it. Why there is oil on it? Because the machine is dripping. Why the machine is dripping? Because the oil is leaking from this coupling. Why the oil is leaking from the coupling? Because the rubber seal inside the coupling is worn out. We could have further drilled down. Why the rubber seal has worn out. But just as an example, we are showing you till the fifth one. So if the rubber seal is rectified, removed or repaired, there will not be, the machine will not be dripping, and there will not be any slippery and unsafe situation. So this is how we have to understand. In the cause and effect analysis, if you see, one of the person related root cause was people are negligent. And if I tell to Elias, your people are very negligent, that is one of the root cause. That is why problem is happening. He will say, sir, definitely I will improve. But how can he improve unless and until he knows why the people are negligent? Then only you have to do a why analysis. Why people are negligent? I'm just giving you an example. People are not getting salary increment for the last 2 years. Why people are not getting salary increment? This way you have to drill down to the utmost level when you feel, no, I cannot go any further. And then only you have to do your improvement from the granular level most root cause. Whichever root cause comes at the last, at the end, granular most, you have to start your improvement based on that. Pareto analysis is another analysis which many of you are, I think, used to, you might have heard also, which is talking about an 80-20 principle. That is, which 20% of the causes are responsible for 80% of the problem. This we generally do when the root causes are more. We want to prioritize. Let us understand, out of 10 root causes, which two at the most number of root causes that is happening. So remove those root causes, improve those root causes first, and accordingly we will improve the situation better. So concentrating on a prioritized set of root causes will help us to remove majority of the problem in the process. So that is one way of doing. But Pareto analysis, I will not say that it is very much compulsory. You can do a Pareto only if your root causes are very much in number. If your root causes are less in number, you need not do a Pareto at all. If you have 4 or 5 root causes, what is there to prioritize? You can simply work on this statement. The next area which we want to do is called, like, the analyze phase of the Six Sigma methodology is ideally segregated into 2 major sections, which you can write it down. The analyze phase of the Six Sigma methodology is divided into 2 major sections. One is the root cause management section, which we have already handled earlier, brainstorming session, cause and effect analysis, why analysis, and Pareto analysis. Now we are talking about a relationship analysis. In a relationship management, there are 3 methodologies that we will discuss. One is a hypothesis methodology. In many yellow belt program, I have seen they don't discuss all these things, but I feel it is good for you people to have at least one conception. It is good. So catching up in your green belt trainings afterwards will be rather easy for you. So in a hypothesis methodology, we try to check between different sets of data if there is significant difference or not. Between different sets of data, if there are sets of differences or not. I will give you an example. In Illinois, there is a packing plant named Fabric Manufacturers. In it, the machine packs cartons with jars. It is supposed that a new machine will pack faster on the average than the machine currently used. To test this hypothesis means presumption. It takes, so we have to basically prove whether the new machine is packing faster than the old machine. If I feel that both Adrian and Alex are sprinters, they run very fast. They are all Olympic sprinters. Okay. And I presume that Adrian runs faster than Alex. That is my presumption, but I have to prove it. That is the proof that I do in a hypothesis testing. My presumption when I test it statistically is called an hypothesis testing. That is, I check my presumption whether it is correct, because my presumption could be wrong. So in a hypothesis testing on a high level, we basically try to check between different sets of data if there is significant difference or not. Next, we talk about correlation analysis. In a correlation analysis, we try to understand between two different sets of data. One is an input data, another is an output data. If there is a co or a mutual relationship between these two data or not. To give you an example, I want to check if TV installation time is having a correlation with TV order processing time. That is, if TV installation time increases, does it mean the TV order processing time also increasing? Or if the TV order processing time is increasing, does it mean that the TV installation time also has increased? That is the relation which we find in a correlation analysis. Another analysis that we have is a regression analysis. In a regression analysis, what we do, we try to understand a bit different thing. That is a dependency factor. How much and Y data or an output data is dependent on the X data, or how much changes to the X data is impacting my Y data. To give you an example, the manager of Princep Motors wants to investigate how the plant's electricity usage depends on the plant production. Here, plant production or car production is the X data and electricity usage is the Y data. We try to find out how much the electricity usage is dependent on the plant production. In all these three, in a hypothesis testing, as we understand, we check between different sets of data if there is significant difference or not. In a correlation analysis, we try to find out between two sets of data if there is a mutual or a correlation that exists. And in a regression equation, we try to find out between two sets of data if there is a dependency of the X factor on the Y factor. So this is what we understand in a relationship management in different analysis. Gap analysis, now with the analysis being done, and now we know what are the root causes, why my problem is happening. So now we have to fill up the gap towards improvement. For that, we need to do a gap analysis properly. In the improve phase, again, we have to start with a brainstorming session. Why? In a brainstorming session, here the difference between a brainstorming session in the analyze phase and in the improve phase is in the brainstorming session in the analyze phase. Try to understand this. In the brainstorming session in the analyze phase, we try to explore the root causes of the problem. And in the improve phase, we try to explore the improvement solutions ideas now. Improvement solutions that we are trying to explore. We generate solution ideas for the improvement. And in the improve phase, we have to come out with two very, very important plans. One is an improvement plan, another is an implementation plan. In an improvement plan, we basically try to put an improvement plan, we basically try to prove how each and every improvement that we have decided in the brainstorming session, we are going to execute. How all these improvements has to be carried on. An implementation plan will basically talk about after each and every improvement is done, how these improvements are to be implemented. Okay. In the course of the implementation, we can also understand In the course of every improvement that we do, in the course of every implementation that we do, what are the risks involved? What are the risks involved if we can prepare an FMEA or a risk management plan or a risk repository or a risk analysis? That is, I will take each and every improvement and each and every implementation and check, is there any risk involved? And our work towards that will be to close that risk as fast as possible so that the improvement and the implementation can well be done properly. So in a risk management plan, we ideally have 6 steps to do. So first is identify the risk. Second, identify the risk priority number, which many of you might be already doing in your organization. Risk priority number has 3 components: risk severity, risk occurrence, and risk detection rating. Severity rating, occurrence rating, and detection rating all comes in a range of 1 to 10 ideally. So your risk priority number should ideally be a product of your severity rating into occurrence rating and detection rating. And needless to say, any risk priority number which is having the maximum risk number, RPN, that has to be closed first. In ideality, in ideal situation, all the risks that you have in your risk management plan should ideally be closed so that your improvement and implementation can be done successfully. Identify the responsible person in the team who will be doing your improvement. Identify your target date of closure. Identify your target date of closure and identify re-evaluation. If you want to re-evaluate a risk, that the severity of the risk might have come down, or the occurrence might have gone up, or the detection might have come down. Accordingly, you can re-evaluate a risk. Also, you can go for closure of the risk as applicable. This is a sample FMEA form. As I have told you, instruments, project charter and FMEA are instruments. Cause and effect analysis, 5YY analysis, these are all quality analysis. SIPOC analysis, detailed process mapping, these are all quality analysis. Rest of the things, probability distribution, measurement system analysis, process capability, hypothesis testing, correlation analysis, regression analysis, these are all statistical tools and techniques. And management tools and techniques, we can include tollgate process, tollgate reviews. These, so you can understand the total initiative is a summation of each and everything. So after your process has been improved, you can go for your revised process capability calculation. Your revised process capability calculation, that is, you calculate your process capability again, because now your process has improved. So ideally, from your improved data, you calculate your process capability again. Earlier, maybe in the measure phase, your process capability was at 1 sigma level. Now you might have reached 4 sigma level, or 5 or 6, anything you might have reached, that you have to showcase. And also your revised SIPOC. Why you need to show a revised SIPOC? Because your process now has changed. You have improved your process. That means either you have deleted some old process, or you have updated some old process, or you have introduced some new process. So it is a new process which you now have to showcase. Over here, some organizations, what they tell me, sir, we will not do a SIPOC. Rather, we have time and we will do a detailed process mapping. Fair enough. If you have time for doing a detailed process mapping, do it over here. Then you need not do a SIPOC analysis over here. I will now step into the control phase of the Six Sigma methodology. Now, in the course of our discussion, because we are covering quite a lot in our innovative concepts, any questions or doubts? Some of the questions or doubts you have already asked me in the initial stages, but after that I haven't received any doubts or questions. Maybe there are no questions, or could be that you people are not asking. What you can do, you can send all your questions to Michelle in mails to IMC. Michelle, who is our relationship manager. So you can send all these your questions to over her. She will send it to me and I will be glad enough to reply back to all the questions, which will eventually come back. Okay. So in a control phase, as I said, we are basically trying to understand how to sustain and control the improvement. As I said, after the improvement has been done in the improve phase, we go for a controlling or to sustain or control the improvement. So in the control phase, we ideally talk about two main areas. One is the control plan. If you see the control plan, which basically talks about the improvement sustenance plan. That is, now we have improved the process. So how to sustain that improvement? How we will ensure that the improvement that we have done is made permanent? It will not deteriorate. We will have to monitor and sustain the improvement for times to come. How to do that, at what intervals we should sustain, at what interval we should track and monitor, who will do the monitoring. This we can do in a sample control plan. Next part that we discuss is the control methods. Control methods. When we talk about control methods, there are mainly three kinds of control methods that we have. The first one is mostly that is used in high scale manufacturing organizations, which is called mistake proofing or error proofing or POCA-YOKI. If I discuss POCA-YOKI, if you see this particular example, that means to prove the mistake before it becomes a mistake. That is, in no way a mistake can be proved. That a mistake cannot become a mistake at all. A defect cannot ideally become a defect at the first instance. If you see this diagram, this gentleman is having a 3-pin plug in his hand, and there are 3 sockets on the wall. 1-pin socket, 3-pin socket, and 2-pin socket. We need to tell him, sir, please put that plug in only this 3-pin socket. We need to tell him, because this cannot go in that 1-pin socket. It cannot go in the 2-pin socket also. It can only go in the 3-pin socket, which is also having the same color. So that means in any way, this person cannot make a mistake. This is generally done, I have seen, in mostly big, large-scale manufacturing organizations, where there is a very complicated process, when there are many diverse post-process, then they have a POCA-YOKI or mistake proofing or error proofing, which is a Japanese concept where POCA means mistake, YOKI means proofing. Mistake proofing or error proofing or POCA-YOKI. The second method that we are going to discuss in a control is the control phase, is the standard operating procedure or SOP, which is, I think, very common term used in many organizations, especially in manufacturing organizations. I have seen SOP is a very common term, where you remember when we discuss about procedures, you lay down a procedure and we ask all our employees, our departments, our projects, our business units to follow those processes. That is what we do in a standard operating procedure. That is, it's a standard which everybody should operate on as part of the organization. That is a work instruction document or a standard operating procedure. In IT industry, we call it a QMS or a BPMS, business process management system. In banks, we call it do's and don'ts document, work instruction document, whatever, which every person in the organization should follow, and based on applicability, he or she should do that way. This way, what will happen? Everybody in the organization should follow a consistent process, so there will be no variation in the approach. Otherwise, what will happen? Adrian will do in her own way, Alex will do in her own way, Abigail will do in her own way, I will do in my own way. So there is a complete inconsistency in the process. So any process to be good, the first thing it should be consistent. If a process is not consistent, it cannot be a stable process. Over here, I will quickly write down one thing on the whiteboard. Quickly write down one thing on the whiteboard. Okay. And please write it down for your own clear understanding. Process consistency leads to process stability, and process stability leads to process capability. If a process is consistent, that means what? There is very less variation. It leads to a process which is very stable, and eventually a stable process leads to a process which is very capable process. This is what is very, very important for us to understand. After Poka-Yogi and standard operating procedure, I move to another area which is called the SPC, or statistical process control, which is another control method which we check statistically. SOP is not statistical measure, it's a quality measurement or a management measurement. Or Poka-Yogi also is a quality measurement, quality method of ensuring proper control. But SPC, where we try to find out control charts, where we plot control charts to check whether my process is very much okay, whether my process is very much okay for our process and all. So this is what we do in an SPC. In a statistical process control, there are actually two limits. Somebody was talking about threshold limits initially. Here we are talking about two limits which are called control limits, which would be termed as threshold or tolerance limits. Threshold or tolerance limit within the organization. And who gives you this upper and the lower control limits? My answer is nobody gives you. USL and LSL were given by your customer, but UCL and NCL are given by your improved data. That is, now you have an improved data, you have improved your process. Now your improved data will give you an upper and lower control limit. If you plot an SPC, that was your data should have this control limits, and your data should always fall within this control limits. If you see on the right hand side, there are two diagrams. At the top, you see there is one straight line, which is an UCL, and at the bottom, you will see another line, which is an LCL, upper control limit and lower control limit. This upper control limit and lower control limits are defined by your new or improved data. That means now on, my data, which is an improved data, should always fall within this upper and the lower control limit. So then only we can say that my data after improvement, my process after improvement is very much under control. Okay. Control limits and specification limits. I have discussed this, but still, control limits are derived from natural process variability, that is from your improved process, or the natural tolerance limit of a process. Specification limits are determined externally, ideally by customers. There is no mathematical or statistical relationship between a control limit and a specification. Never get confused that control limit and specification limits are the same. I made it very clear. These are completely two different things. Now, let's take this example of a statistical process control. Handsome Tractors wants to check if the number of defective tractors manufactured by a company is in control or not. Each week we inspect the number of tractors manufactured and the number of defectives produced that week. We want to check whether the tractors defective are now within control or not. So that means one thing is for sure, these tractors defective was very much a problem earlier. Now the process has been improved, and now after the process has been improved, now the organization wants to check if the tractors defective are very much under control or not. Then we plot a control chart as applicable and check whether the tractors defective are very much under control or not. We will now discuss about lean as a process. To discuss lean, there are ideally three major areas which we want to discuss. The first one is lean manufacturing. As you can understand, the concept of lean manufacturing is ideally coming from manufacturing organizations, but it can be well applied in other organizations also based on applicability. In a lean manufacturing, ideally, there are three concepts. One is Muda, Mura, and Muri. These are Muda, Mura, and Muri. These are Japanese concepts where Muda means identification of wastages in the process and how to eliminate those wastages from process. Lean, the relation between Lean and Six Sigma is Lean identifies wastages from the process and improves the process by removing those wastages, and Six Sigma identifies defects or problems or variations from the process and improves the process by eliminating that. So in one way, both are striving towards process improvement. The approaches are different, but both are approaching towards process improvement. What is Mura? Mura means identification of inconsistency and inefficiency in the process and how to remove that inefficiency from the process. And what is Muri, which is very interesting? Identification of excess stress within resources in the process and how to eliminate those resources. Muri means identification of excess stress in the process and how to remove that excess stress from resources in the process. Here, resources means not only human resources, even machinery is a resource, even furniture is a resource. So you have to understand it this way. We now talk about lean generic principles. Lean generic principles. When we talk about lean generic principles, there are 5 components of the lean generic principles which can well be applied in all organizations. It can well be applied in all organizations. The first one is value. We have to ensure that the customer is getting his value for money, that the company is creating the most valuable products for the customer. What is more valuable for me as a customer? Anything that meets or exceeds all the quality requirement, that is more valuable for me. Value stream. Identify those activities within your organization that is creating that value. What is flow? Your company process should be such that it should be free from any interruptions, inconsistency, delays, bottlenecks, hiccups. It should run like a symphony. It should run like a symphony with no interruptions. That is a proper flow. It should be there for your process. Pull. Pull means produce only that much that is required by your customer, which is also called just-in-time manufacturing, which was originally started off in 1960-61 in TPS, Toyota Production System. Pull, that is, produce only that much that you required by your customer. Don't produce everlastingly. Don't keep on producing. In that case, you will have wastages in the organization. You will have overproduction. You will have excess inventory. For that, a proper customer planning, customer management is very, very much necessary. And what is perfection? Produce something which is perfect for the customer. It is something like your 100% quality that we talk about, Six Sigma. The third component that we want to discuss is called the Lean 6S philosophy. What is Lean 6S philosophy? To discuss about Lean 6S philosophy, we talk about 6 S's. Okay, the latest is 6S. In some areas, you will still find 5S, but it has now changed to 6S. First one is sort. All products and services of the similar nature, sort it properly. Sort so that all items of the same nature are kept at one place. That's what we do, right? In a manufacturing organization, an IT organization, in all other sectors, we sort all items of the similar nature together. Second thing is set in a proper order. Set in a proper order. You have all the payslip files into one particular folder. But do you have 2018, 19, 20, 21, all files together? No, you have separate subfolders. That is called set in order. Similarly, if it is a bulk related organization, manufacturing organization, you will have 5-volt filaments somewhere else, 10-volt filaments separate, 20-volt filaments separate. You will not mix all the filaments and holders together, right? Based on their different weightage, you will have it separate. That is called set in order. Third one is shine. You should have your organization properly shined and cleaned. That is what we call shine. Fourth one, standardization. We have learned about standardization in standard operating procedure or SOP. We have learned it already. You see, now there is a similarity we can guess in Lean and Six Sigma initiative, where Lean is also talking about standardization. That is, whatever way you have sorted, whatever way we have set in order, or whatever way we have shined, please standardize that process, so that every day, every people do the same way, so that there is no variation in the process. That is called standardization. Next one is called sustenance of the work. That is, whatever way you sort, whatever way you set in order, whatever way you shine, whatever way you standardize, please sustain that. Over here also you see there is a similarity with whatever we discussed in our Six Sigma initiative. You sustain that. And the last one is safety. Your organization should be safe from hazards, not only for your employees, but also for your customers. After your control phase is done, we should ideally go for project closure. We should ensure a proper good control to the process, which we have already ensured with a proper control plan and control methods. We should have the finance controller sign off to check with the Six Sigma project how much financial savings we have got. We should have the process owner handoff. Who is a process owner? Suppose, as I say, if we are trying to improve a process for the operations department, the operations departmental head is the process owner, because the process which is being improved, now he owns that improved process. He has to we have to hand it over to him officially, that this process is now finally improved. You please now take it over. And leveraging the knowledge means, or recording of the project means, whenever a Six Sigma project is completed, in many organizations I find there are platforms like knowledge management platform, or we have some common server where the Six Sigma project documentations are uploaded. And after the Six Sigma projects are uploaded, we can use it as a leveraging. That is, if today Carl has done a Six Sigma project, and tomorrow if Dara wants to do a Six Sigma project, she can refer to that project, how Carl has done, and accordingly she can plan her project. So that is called leveraging of the knowledge. It can be used as a reusable component. He will not be able to copy what Carl has does, because his project subject was different, but she can at least understand the approach. What are the risks that Carl has encountered, how he overcome those risks, what are the good practices Carl has done, what are the challenges he faced. All this, accordingly, I can plan for my Six Sigma project also. Finally, the sponsor or the process owner will close the project with an eventual celebration of your work. Eventual celebration. Celebration means you give a vote of thanks to the people. I have seen in various organizations where we give a vote of thanks to the people, all my teams, my sponsor, my finance people, my quality team people who are instrumental, who have given quite a bit of suggestion to us in gradual circumstances. Accordingly, we give a vote of thanks to these people. Now we will, before closure of the session, I will take you through a simple sample project format. How to prepare a sample Six Sigma project in your case. You start off in a project presentation slide With the first slide, you will start as a project title. Then you have the define phase where you will have to state the voice of the customer, what is the critical to quality that you have arrived, what are the specification limits that you have. In the next slide, please showcase your project charter. And in another slide, you showcase the SIPOC analysis. In the next slide, you can showcase the tollgate process. So you see by this time, your slide pack is always around 4 to 5 slides you are already having. In the measure phase, one slide should have your detailed process mapping that would define. Next one should have your detailed collection plan, data collection plan, process capability in whatever way you want to do, whether it is a CPK way of doing things for continuous data or a DPMO way of doing for a discrete data. You do it in the next slide. Measurement system analysis or probability distribution, if at all you have an opportunity, you can do that in 2 different slides. Do the output on the mini tab, which you can learn further when we do your green belt and other sessions. How to do that in a green belt session or in a black belt session. We teach that in very much in detail how to work on this. And after that, you can save that mini tab output and copy paste that mini tab output in respective slides, and followed by the tollgate process, which I said is a must management review at the end of each and every phase. In the analyze phase, you have your brainstorming details to be put, cause and effect analysis and YY analysis. We have already learned all these things. Pareto analysis, if you feel, correlation, hypothesis testing, and regression, as the case may be, you can put it under different slides, followed by the tollgate process for the analyze phase. For the improve phase also, you can start with the improvement plan and implementation plan, followed by the risk management plan or the FMEA. Then you can do, after solution selection metrics, we haven't discussed in a yellow belt, and also design of experiment we haven't discussed, but you can talk on the before and after scenario and the tollgate process for the improve phase, followed by the control phase, where you can showcase your statistical process control, that is the control charts. If at all you have done anything, you can also showcase your control plan and the improvement sustenance plan, project learning reporting, which I told you, project closure formalities, and the final closure with the vote of thanks. And eventually you can go with the tollgate process. So that is for the lean also, any lean manufacturing, because in any organization, the lean initiative cannot be complete if the implementation is not done for lean manufacturing, lean generic principles, and lean success philosophy all together. At least these 3 must be done. Then only we can say that the lean practice is very much prevalent in my organization. Now, I have seen organizations where there is 6 Sigma process. Lean is not there to that extent. They are also doing their very good improvement to process. There are organizations where there are lean initiative, but not much lean initiative, but not much towards 6 Sigma. They are also doing their improvement to the process very well. Also, there are organizations which we are doing lean and 6 Sigma, which I have seen doing very much together. I will say their process improvements are very much robust compared to others. So if lean and 6 Sigma can be practiced side by side, can lean and 6 Sigma gone side by side, we can say these are very much helpful for this thing. And accordingly, we can say that these things are very, very helpful in the long run when lean and 6 Sigma are practiced together for times to come. With this, I come to a closure of our session, yellow belt session that we have run through for 3 hours. We still have 10 minutes. If anyone has any questions for 10 minutes, we can discuss this. If you don't have any questions at this moment, you would like to go through the presentation once and then you can shoot questions. You can shoot your questions afterwards to Michelle, who will bring the questions to me? Yes, Ramakrishna, tell me.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much for this wonderful lecture. So I have just clarification,
Yeah,
request
tell
for a
me,
clarification.
tell me, sir.
Sir, just small, explanation, Six Sigma as a process capability and standard deviation. I'm a little confused on this one, sir.
Oh.
Hmm.
Process capability, no, process capability and standard deviation, to an extent, these are no way related, I will say. But standard deviation is the measure of the variations. Standard deviation is the measure of the variations that you have in any process. And process capability is the measure of how much capable is your process at this moment compared to the upper and the lower specification limit that you have to achieve. You will definitely do this. Like Ramakrishna, I will give you an example from your day-to-day life. If you have to achieve 90% marks in operations research, you have to score 90%. That's the target which I have given you. But your current performance is at 50%. So that target or the CTQ, that is 90%. And you have your performance is at 50%. So, okay. Now we will also tell that whenever you have your 50% is your current capability. So in order to reach that 90%, how much improvement you need to do so that you can reach that 90%? So your capability, how far away you are now compared to that 90%? So that is what your process capability calculation you are doing.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Now,
Yes, sir.
yes. So before I conclude, I will also tell you people one thing, that you people have now gone through the very basic part of the Six Sigma learning, which is the yellow belt, where you are now aware of Six Sigma thing, right? When now, whenever, as some people are saying that Ramakrishna asked me, sir, what is a process capability? What is standard deviation? So whenever they go for further studies of green belt and black belt, it will not sound very much Hebrew to them. It will sound very familiar. But in green belt and black belt, why I will strongly suggest you people to go for green belt and black belt gradually, especially if you have planned to go for with a Six Sigma tail. That yes, okay. So that means when you say that you are going through your yellow belt, that is your first stage. Now you are aware of the Six Sigma as a methodology to an extent. Your next step ideally will be to go for your green belt training. Ideally for a green belt training, and nevertheless afterwards for a black belt training. Why you need to have this for a green belt and black belt training? Because for a green belt and black belt training, you will learn more about these things, and many of you could be very much professionally, you are interested towards your process related areas. Some of you could be from the quality area, some of you could be from the managerial area that you are working on in your organization. So you have to very much be interested to know how to improve, or what should be your approach to improve the process of your organization. Many of you could be owning your own organization. So in that case, going through a green belt and black belt training is very, very much necessary. Very, very much necessary, I will say, for all of you over here. Okay. So for all of you over here, going to a green belt session and eventually for a black belt session is very, very much necessary for you to handle how to go ahead in your Six Sigma journey. It will take you to a great heights along with your lean knowledge. Okay. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much, everybody. Yes, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciation. Thank you. Great insights. Okay, thank you very much for all your appreciation. It really helps. Yes, over to you, Michelle, to take it
Yes,
forward.
sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, again for your very valuable training this morning. That was so informative and fruitful discussion, sir. Thank you
Thank you
so
very much.
much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, moving forward, I guess all the questions regarding Lean Six Sigma was all sorted out and addressed. So let me move to the next presentation before we finish up the session. So I would like to say good job, everyone, for making it till the end of the session. We do hope that you all enjoyed it. And moving forward, as a reward for tuning in, and with regards to the special announcement, which I have mentioned earlier, many of you might be thinking of getting this participation certificate as a proof of your attendance for this training, correct? So instead of paying the regular price of $50 for a minimal amount of $20 only for today, you will get the participation certificate. So this is how it looks like. It is provided with certification number here, plus the session date today, total duration of the training, plus the logos of our accreditation bodies, which is the CPD and the CSSC, or the Council of Six Sigma Certification USA, plus it comes along with the signatories of our company directors. However, it would be much better to be a Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt certified. So we have another package for that, which includes the e-learning access, the examination, achievement certificates, plus the free participation certificate, trainer's notes for today's session, plus the free access of today's recorded session. The recording is downloadable, so you can save it in your desktop or mobiles and watch it even if you are offline, whenever you want to recap or review this training session. Okay, so the regular price before is 200 USD, but for today, it will only cost you, the package will just be $60. International Management Consultancy, by the way, have come up with this initiative to help out all the freshers and working professionals like you as a starting platform to enjoy all the major benefits of being a Lean Six Sigma certified. That's why we come up with this free training. So I'll just want to recap what are the benefits of getting certified. So having the certification, it will provide you an endorsement to employers that you have an explicit skill set, because competition as of now for employment can be severe. So by having proof that you have awareness and you can apply Lean Six Sigma, it can set you apart from the crowd. Secondly, certified Lean Six Sigma professionals get good chance of growing to senior managerial positions. And certified professionals also are amongst the highest paid professionals globally. So you will get an excellent salary if you are a Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt professional. And this also, the advantage is that this is applicable to all types of industries. Okay, it's holistic applicability across other industries. So what is the e-learning portal? E-learning materials will be provided here, plus the ebooks, the PDF presentation, pre-recorded videos, sample questionnaires, case study materials, plus this is accessible for lifetime. Once you avail the package of $60, you will get your own credentials, and we will be providing you your username and password, which you can also reset if you want to change it. So this is how it looks like. Okay, once you avail that package, you will get this e-learning portal, the pre-recorded video of our previous trainings for Yellow Belt, plus the ebook materials, PowerPoint, sample questionnaires, and here for the final assessment, you will be taking it in the same portal. So what about the assessment? So the assessment or the final examination, this is flexible within 3 to 4 months after you enroll, okay, upon enrollment. So this is also an open book online exam. And you have 20 multiple choice questions, and the duration will be half an hour or 30 minutes. And the passing percentage needed is 50%, so meaning at least 10 correct answers. And you have free 3 attempts of final assessment. You don't need to worry even if you fail the first attempt, so you still have 2 more, all right? So the dual certifications, you will be getting this after you complete and pass the final examination. Dual certification because one from IMC and one from CPD UK London. Okay, IMC Achievement Certificate, as you can see, this comes with logos of our accreditation bodies as well, the signatories of our company directors, and it comes also with a unique certification number, which can be used by your employers and other stakeholders or your clients to validate the authenticity of your Lean Six Sigma certifications, which you have received. Plus, you will get CPD certification. As we have mentioned earlier, IMC is a proud CPD member and or this one, meaning CPD is the continuing professional development. This is an avenue for professionalizing learning, which is based in United Kingdom, London. It also comes with a unique certification number here, plus the number of CPD hours and points. So both of these certifications are valid worldwide or internationally recognized and with lifetime validity, meaning it doesn't expire and no need to pay for renewal fees. So how will you avail? To avail, you just need to pay it through online payment via Stripe Gateway. You will be required to fill out your name, email address, phone number, and card details. And once finished, just click the pay button. I will be sharing the payment link in the chat box. Just a minute. All right. So payment links are already shared, plus the inclusions and all the details are there. And my contact details, my email ID and my WhatsApp number also. So upon payment, once the payment is done, please send a screenshot to me via email or WhatsApp to expedite the process and receive the following. So along with that email, you will receive the payment confirmation from the service team, plus the attachment of the participation certificate form. And please note that the processing will take 2 to 3 days upon receipt of the completed form. And then you will also get the attachment of the examination guidelines and that same email, plus the login credentials, which I have mentioned. Okay, your username and password for the portal, plus the recordings or the class notes via Google Drive link. And the recordings will be uploaded within 2 days. All right. So avail now and don't miss this exciting one-day offer today. So this is my contact details. You can reach me through email or WhatsApp. So this is my email ID, michelle@imclearning.com. Please note it down. And my WhatsApp number is +971 56307 7131. Okay. Again, michelle@imclearning.com, and please note down my WhatsApp number, +971 56307 7131. I'll also be messaging you this WhatsApp number in the chat box. Okay. So you can also check your email invitation. At the bottom part of that email, you will see my email ID plus the WhatsApp link. Okay, you just need to click this one, which is encircled in red, or this WhatsApp icon so that you can directly message me. Plus, for those who are interested to avail for the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, if you wish to upgrade for Lean Six Sigma Green Belt or Black Belt or Master Black Belt, and we also have this combo package. Okay, we have this up to 50% to 75% discounted offer, and the offer varies from the it depends on the countries where you are located. So just kindly message me so that I can share the specific brochure to you. Plus, the good thing about this, if you upgrade you to Lean Six Sigma Green, Black, Master Black Belt, you will get the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt for free. You don't need to pay for $20 or $60. You just need to upgrade to Green or Black Belt, and then you will get the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt package for free. All right. So again, to know how to upgrade, again, just make sure to drop an email or WhatsApp message to me so I can explain to you everything you need to know about the course, the pricing and discounts, payment terms for installments, different mode of payments, and of course, the enrollment and registration process. Okay? Please take note that our 50% to 75% discounted offer is only valid within 3 days. So again, don't miss this chance to avail this limited offer and get certified. For more information, please do visit our page at www.imcinstitute.ae. To get to know more about our services, of course, our team, our accreditations, our educators, international corporate partners, class schedules, and of course, our client feedbacks and reviews. Again, please do check your inbox for the payment link if you want to take advantage of this one-day offer. And before I end the session, I would like to take this opportunity also to inform you all, especially for those who are interested for game development training and certification, or Unity 3D, we will be conducting a free webinar for this course this coming July 2, 2022. All right. You will learn about the fundamentals of game development, how to use Unity 3D to make first game, how to make mobile game from start to finish. The timings will be 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. GST time. If you want to check your local timings, just kindly go to our website and just click this enroll now button. And then it will show you all the informations plus the local timings. Okay. Going back, please do check your inbox for the payment link so that you can avail and take advantage of the offer. If you have more questions, please let me know. So before I end this meeting, I rest assured that all the questions are addressed properly. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, and I will be staying here for a few minutes so I can respond to your queries related to enrollment procedure, examination, and certification process before I end this session. Any questions?
Hello, Michelle.
Yes, sir. How may I help you?
Yeah, I just wanted to inquire, is this all of your trainings are available in other platform like Udemy and all?
Are you asking about this freelance Six Sigma Yellow Belt training?
Yeah, I mean, all other training like black belt and green belt, is this available in Udemy platform?
We are only conducting free webinars and training for Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt, sir. But we have this package and discounted offer for green and black belt plus the master black belt.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're interested, just kindly drop an email, okay, to michelle@imclearning.com or WhatsApp message me. Okay, I already shared my WhatsApp number in the chat box, so just kindly drop a message so I can respond and discuss to you all the further details that you want to know. All right.